Hey there, welcome to Live Online, live from my kitchen and living room here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm your host, Brody, with a show that's hopefully going to give you something to take away at the end of the day, maybe something that you can implement into your life personally, maybe professionally as well. For me, it's a self-inspired show where I made a decision after years of working in radio broadcasting. I decided to move back to the East Coast to focus on my personal life and the people in it. And now I'm also helping people and small businesses start their own show, much like this, a podcast or what have you. So today we're going to be talking with marriage and relationship therapists Carole Cullen and Shelly Hummel out of Wake Forest, North Carolina. And they're going to be talking about best practices with your partner and your family during quarantine time. Now, if you're watching the show live as it's being recorded, then you can comment in the comment section. Also, if you have something to add to the conversation, you could be a part of the conversation. If you have questions, you can ask those as well, and we'll try to get them answered for you. Also, if you ever want to give a shout out on the show, at the very start of the show, I do something called live online check-ins, where you can connect either video or you could just connect via audio. If you want to give a shout out to a friend, a loved one, a family member, even a favorite business, you could do that with the live online check-in. You could just get my social media handles, reach out like that, or via email. All the contact info is at brodyradio.com. Okay, so tonight we've got Carole Cullen, Shelly Hummel. They are marriage and relationship therapists out of Wake Forest, North Carolina. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Hey, Brody.
Hi, Brody.
We'll try to get.
Yeah, we're both in the screen.
We're trying to fit into the screen for you.
You look great, by the way. And I have heard, it was funny because recently we've been under quarantine now for weeks, and who knows how much longer this is going to continue. And I've been hearing a lot of couples getting in each other's nerves. And I follow Luke Bryan's wife, Caroline, on Instagram. And one of her Insta stories had the two of them sitting on the couch and with this half-assed grin going, yes, we haven't killed each other yet. So my first question is, what's a good way to manage your relationship with your partner while you're being quarantined? You can't really leave the house except unless you're an essential employee or if you have to go to the grocery store. So how do you getting in each other's nerves?
Yeah, I think that there's a few things about that. You know, my experience with the couples that I work with and just with, family, neighbors, friends, is that yes, while there's stress with finances, stress with being at home, a lot of together time, there are certainly a lot of positives that are coming out of this. And a lot of my couples are saying that they've never had so much downtime to have daily conversations or time to go on family walks or do a puzzle together or just, binge watch Netflix and not have the pressing constraints of job, schedule, and they're finding it to be really, really good.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying, I selfishly really, I understand it's very hard out in the world right now, and everyone's suffering with so many things. But I'm really enjoying the time that I'm having, the downtime with my family, and just the downtime for myself, because it's always so busy. So there's a little piece of me that feels a little guilty for really enjoying being home when I know how hard it is for a lot.
Don't feel guilty. Do not feel guilty.
In a little part.
Brody, I was just going to pull my therapist hat on. Just allow yourself to feel the joy and the slowdown of life, and don't feel guilty for enjoying something. That we have to be able to focus on some of the positives that are, out of a really crappy situation for so many, financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, fiscally. And if we can't do that, we're all screwed. you know,
we're all screwed. We're all screwed.
But I think your question, so tips. So I think one of the problems that I do see with my own relationship, and sometimes your relationship and every relationship out there, is the tendency for one partner to be dismissive of the feelings or opinions of the other. For example, you know, let's say Carole and I are in a relationship together, and I'm going to go to the grocery store.
No, you're not.
I want to go to the grocery store. I have to get out of the house.
No, it's dangerous.
Carole,
you cannot go to the grocery store.
Totally ridiculous.
We talked about
People
this.
are overreacting.
We're not going to do that. We're going to follow the rules.
You're not going to do that. I'm going to do that because you are being totally crazy about this.
So
we're not going to get COVID.
The rules of the law.
You are
in the
being,
state. Okay. So this is something I see a lot. I even worked with a couple today. Worked through this with them.
Yeah.
Like, who's right here? Who's wrong? What's the right way to do it?
So that example is to illustrate. I was dismissive of her, and she was dismissive of me. So there's this like butting heads of who's right, who's wrong. You're being overreactive. No, you're being dismissive, or you're being too relaxed with the rules. And so instead of trying to understand each other's viewpoint, we just sort of dismissed and disregarded the opinion of each other, and we didn't get anywhere, right? And so my number one tip would be listen to your partner and try to understand by asking questions where their mind is. And this is not, you're not going to change your partner. You are not going to change your partner during this stressful time. So just put that on the back burner and say, maybe I can change him later, but not now.
We're all going through this together. This is the first time any of us have been through something like this. So, you know, what you're saying is it's really about honest and open communication and being compassionate for each other's feelings.
Absolutely. That's exactly right.
And knowing that you're not going to agree on everything. And even those small, differences in relationships that people, originally when you get together, if one of you is like messy and the other one is neat, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but over time those differences start to build, and right now it's like having a magnifying glass on your relationship. So those little irritants, those little differences that maybe on other normal days you could balance, right now they're magnified. So these small differences, just from being in each other's space for so many days, so much time together, it starts to magnify that. And so you can get irritated pretty quickly. So just understanding and giving each other that compassion and really listening to each other is going to really pay off in the end here, because you're not going to change each other.
I feel like this is a time where your business must be picking up. Like, we all need therapists more than ever now that we're going through all this quarantine. Do you find that you're getting a lot more new clients during this time?
I think it's both, right?
It's both.
So I'll take that one first.
Okay. And then I'll answer.
So I think what I'm noticing, and I think you can probably say the same, is that we're getting some folks that are saying, we're just going to wait. We're going to wait till this is over, and we're going to deal with it afterwards. Right now, we're just trying to manage being a homeschool teacher, figuring out finances, whether I have a job, I don't have a job. Some people are extremely busy with their work, so overwhelmed if they're in healthcare, they can't focus on anything else right now. Taking care of maybe elderly parents and like all those other things. So we're saying, let's just put therapy on hold and we'll deal with it when this is gone. And then you have the other extreme of folks that are like, we're home, we're together, and we're ready to work on this. And they're diving in, and it's been wonderful. And they've been making so much progress, and teletherapy really works. And I know Shelly's still, you're going into the office.
I am.
And I'm not. So everyone has their own style. So there is a way to do therapy in person and through telehealth right now if you choose. But right now, I think is a perfect time to start therapy. There's no reason to wait. Would you agree?
I mean, I think a lot of new couples that are reaching out, and even existing clients, are concerned financially. So they're maybe not scheduling as frequent. And we're all sort of wondering, well, when is this going to be over so we can, get back to normal. But I think, the financial impact is really, really difficult. And we're all like, it's stressful, and it's stressful for couples. I mean, money is something that couples argue about anyway. And so now it's like crunch time, right? I mean, how many couples out there have no clue about their budget? Most, actually. And now at a time where they absolutely have to know what's coming in and what's coming out, and like the stress, it's like this like big, pressure cooker of worry and expectation and not talking about it. And like both people are, freaking out.
Yeah.
And so that like, that's gonna implode, right? Yeah. Whether you talk about it and fight about it, or you don't talk about it and you avoid it, it's going to explode somehow in some way. And so couples really do need to be reaching out, and it doesn't always have to be therapy, right? Not everybody wants to go to therapy. There's still a stigma out there, and there are lots of great resources out there that are free too, podcasts, books. And so any assistance that you can get and that your partner is willing to get and give.
And I do want to see that there is a lot of low fee, no fee, sliding scale resources for couples and individuals that want to reach out for therapy, that are struggling financially or don't have health insurance. And there are, for healthcare workers, there are free sessions right now that I know the North Carolina Marriage and Family Therapy Association has pulled together a group of therapists that have volunteered to offer pro bono services to North Carolina healthcare workers. So if anybody wants more information about that, they can reach out to Shelly or I, and we can hook them up with a therapist that will offer free services. And I know in my practice, we're also offering sliding scale because we're a group practice. So if someone needs therapy, we can find them and hook them up and link them with the services. So it is doable. Finances should never be a barrier to receiving proper mental health care. And we want to be able to connect people.
Now, normally when we're not under quarantine, one of the things that couples do to kind of get some time away is, they go do a girls' night, they go do a boys' night, and now that kind of opportunity really is, you really can't do it. So what are some other things that, when you want to go do your own thing, you want to go have your own space, your own time, and maybe you don't have a big house so you can all spread out. Maybe you have a smaller apartment.
Big enough. Brody, there is no house big enough right now. Okay?
I have a really large closet.
Yeah, I'm sure you've done this too. Lots of telehealth sessions with people locked in the bathroom.
Oh no, there's too much of an echo here. Not in the bathroom.
That's true.
Conference calls. Have you seen that video online where the guy's on a conference call? He's got his library behind him, and all of a sudden the kids bust in the door. And
that's pretty much how it's been going. So to answer your question, that was tip number 2 that we had, is how do you take care of yourself during this time? Because if you want to be a good partner in your relationship, you have to be able to take care of yourself first. Because if you're not in a good state, emotionally, physically, psychologically, you're going to be good to no one in your relationship and in your family. So first priority is making sure that you have yourself squared away and you are functioning at your best. So some tips for that are, and this is a good one. The first one is like, have a daily schedule or routine. I can't tell you how many folks I've talked to that are like, yeah, well, it's been 5 weeks. I guess we better get our act together. I guess we should start getting dressed every day or, having some kind of a routine. And I think when you don't have a routine or things that are scheduled for your day or some sort of order to the chaos, you can get depressed.
Yes.
Or anxious, and you start to lose focus. So I think the first tip is to have a schedule for the day. Wake up, get dressed, brush your teeth, brush your hair, take a shower, whatever you need to do in the morning, and get out and start to function in some sort of organized way.
Sophie my daughter came up to me yesterday and said, Mom, you should really make your bed. She's like the clean one in our house. So she's like, you should really make your bed. It'll make you feel better.
I love that.
And I'm like, can't you just accept me for who I am?
Exactly.
And I made my bed today and it felt good.
That's awesome. Tip number 1, listen to me. Right. So first is having some sort of structure. The second is getting some kind of exercise every day, whether it's going for a walk or doing some sort of, app. They have tons of free apps now offering free exercise routines. So doing something physical every single day is also going to be important. The third part of that is, working not only on your physical well-being, but also on your mental health. doing something relaxing that is also like meditation or a yoga, even though that's physical, it's also for your mind. So doing something that soothes your mind and helps you with the anxiety or depression if you're feeling some symptoms of depression. But working on your mental health as well, like allowing yourself the space to just slow down and really take care of yourself emotionally is going to be really important.
I like that. Now, one of the things that I really like is there's a bigger park near where I am, and there's more than enough room for people to go out there and not encroach on each other with the social distancing rule. And isn't that another way you can just go for a walk?
Be outside.
Yes.
I mean, being in nature does something to our brain. It does something to our hormones. It does amazing things. I don't know all the chemical.
I think it releases endorphins.
Does something. There you go.
That make you feel happy.
Being outside and hearing the sounds and feeling, the leaves or the ground, being able to ground yourself and not sort of this stagnant air at home in front of the screen.
The sunshine gives you vitamin D. It increases your mood.
Get outside. I love that. Get out in the park, Brody.
Yeah. We've been taking family walks and as well as individual walks. I've been taking walks on my own. I've been taking walks with the family just about every day. I'd say at least 5 days out of the week, we're doing some kind of just a walk, and my mood just feels better. Yeah. And, I'm definitely having mood swings with all this. So it's good to try and do whatever you can to stabilize your mood. But along with that would be the next thing would be eating healthy. We talked about that to start with.
Oh no.
I know.
This isn't going very well. I just had ice cream.
So we started out with good intentions.
Treat yourself. It's okay to treat yourself. I think talking about, as you're just saying, like you just said, I'm having mood swings. I'm having anxiety. That normalizes it when you can talk about it. And we all struggle with different things, and we are all on a spectrum of good days and bad days and depressed, happy. It just depends on the day. It depends on the circumstance. And I think to be able just to talk about it and
embrace it
and say, yes, this sucks, or I'm having a terrible day, or I really need help, or I'm really bothered by such and such, or I'm really, really scared. And to reach out to people who care about you and can respond in a loving way, that is what makes all the difference.
And I love that, because now I think not everybody knows creatively how to use these tools we have, right? So we are all trained, and I've talked about this before, get off of your phone, get off of social media, and get in your relationship, or, at work with your coworkers, be present, right? But now we're having to jump back on technology so we can connect with friends, in a lot of cases with coworkers, or with family. And, again, we were just talking about, not being able to go out with your friends, but you can. I've seen people do virtual happy hours, right? And that's another way to connect with your friends, where you can get your own time as well.
Technology is not the enemy at all here. It's how we use technology. We can use it to our benefit. We can do virtual happy hours. We can do virtual Netflix binging together. We can connect with family and friends. I've seen lots of folks playing virtual. There you go. Cheers. We can do virtual board games. There's so many ways that you can connect with other people using technology. And that was our next part of taking care of yourself, is when you need to, like Shelly said, reach out to folks that care about you, that love you, and connect with them through technology. You can do a Skype call with them, a supportive friend that maybe
or just use the phone and
wait,
the old-fashioned way.
The
Pick
phone?
it up and have it ring and some great.
What are you
referring to? This phone?
What is the phone call? You use your phone to make phone calls. So I heard a rumor, or it wasn't a rumor, actually. It was a study that now it's rude to leave a voicemail if somebody doesn't answer.
Oh, what?
I've never heard of that.
I swear. And that, I want to say that was like a month and a half ago. So
don't be rude.
Don't leave voicemails.
Well, there you go. Okay, and last tip on taking care of yourself is to take breaks when you need them.
Yeah.
It's totally okay to take breaks when you need them.
Okay. What are you looking at? Okay, never mind.
That's another thing I'm not good at. Because you end up on the computer. You're doing work. You're busy. you're taking care of the kids, the dogs.
So
Do you set an alarm maybe as a backup?
here's the thing. So much of this could be prevented, so much frustration if couples did this one thing. Talk about it the day before. Like say, hey, I would like to have some time to myself tomorrow after dinner. I don't like, I just need it. And like, it just has to be for a half an hour. What about you? Can I mean, what can I do to help you? And I have a conference call tomorrow from 3 to 4, just so you know, so you can plan.
Yes, that would be a good time for you to take your time from 3 to 4. That way I'll do my call. You'll have your own time.
We'll have dinner in between.
It's called setting the expectation. And we don't do that because we expect our partners to mind read, which is a myth. It is not good.
It's not fair.
It's not good. It's not fair. You shouldn't do it. Don't expect your partner to mind read. And to know. You have to tell them.
You should know that I want to spend time with you.
Well, I already know that, but no, I'm kidding.
But you should know that every day I want to have time by myself. And so why are you upset if like I'm just saying I'm going for a walk, get over it.
Get over
there you go.
Right.
Don't do it like that.
it.
Don't do it like that.
No.
Set the expectation ahead of time that you want some time alone or you want some time together. And like me, if you have mood swings, okay, last week I wanted time away. And so Chris was like, what's going on here? And then this week I'm like all needy and like, do you want to hang out with me? Do you want to hang out with me? What are you doing? Do you want to watch
Little bunny
rabbit? Yeah, exactly. So I'm like on a roller coaster here and I'm taking him for a ride.
Chris.
I know, poor thing. And I promised him I would give him kudos for being the best husband ever.
Good job, Chris.
Yeah, Chris, best husband ever award. For you.
By the way, I am going to bring up your husbands in just a few minutes because the two of you do something that I would have never even thought of. So remind me if I forget to bring up your husbands. But,
okay.
You don't have any pictures, do you?
No, I do not actually. I do not.
Okay.
I got to say hi to Ken. Ken, thank you for watching. And another thing that I think we need to address is, so the kids, if you have kids and now they're home from school, one of the things you want to do is have some sexy time. And what do we do? The kids are around all the time.
We've got solutions. All right, Shelly's got the best idea. I'm gonna let her go first.
Well, you give them your iPad, or you get
your
kids their iPad.
Schedule electronic time. Yeah. Right. So it's not like they're on it all day, but like your whatever 30 minutes, however long you get for your iPad time. That's your iPad time, and they're completely engrossed because they haven't had it for hours. So now they're got their headphones on, they're on their iPads. That's their time, and then mommy and daddy have their time.
And you turn on every bathroom vent, shower, whatever to buffer possible noise. Like TV. everything, every fan is on.
You tell the kids to use earbuds.
Yes.
And that too,
but you have to have the buffer. A woman has to feel like there's no possible way
your child
can hear it. So the women in the group are going to put
every fan on in the house, the TV.
Hey, let's do laundry right now. This is
everything's going.
Thing that has a vent will function in your house at one time.
So that's one idea to have some sexy time. Another idea is wake up 30 minutes or however long you want before the kids get up. Get up extra early. Like make the effort to have some time together before the house gets crazy and the kids are up and all in your business. Or wait until they go to sleep at night, which is harder because we're really, really tired at the end of the day. Tired. Yeah. So those are just some ways. Yeah, those are just some ways because everybody's in the house all the time and all together. It's hard to get some alone time, especially if you have smaller children that need a lot of attention. You're going to need to be a little creative, and waking up early is a great way to start your day. That's for sure.
Oh, I agree. Now, do you think when this quarantine is all said and done, we're allowed to get back out into the public and the fear of catching the coronavirus isn't as big, that this whole experience of everybody spending way more time together in a closed space, do you think that's going to have actually some positive impacts? We're going to be able to take some things that we learned and be like, you know what? I'm glad we went through, not for the reason we had to, but that we went and experienced that because now we can do whatever it is better.
Absolutely. I think, everybody has had just this slowing down of life, right? Like the natural tendency is to maybe get to the next thing, or let me run to Target real quick, or let me make a trip to, we our lives by design in this country are like one thing to the next, one thing to the next. And what gets lost is that feeling that you were just talking about, being present with your partner, being present in the moment. And so that's, I think the big takeaway is the slowing down can allow you to feel and be more present with people that love you and you love.
And I think on the flip side of that, not to be the Debbie Downer here, but I think once we do get back to regular life and regular schedules, that it's real easy to forget what we just went through. It's so easy to just dive right back into the regular routine and get back into the rut. And you don't want to do that. You want to remember the things that you've learned with this downtime of how important it is to connect and have family time, and how meaningful it is to your partner that you're showing up for them in this new way. So you don't want to forget that. I think a great idea would be to write some kind of a journal or a diary or like a reminder note to yourself. Like, dear Carole, remember how important it was for you to take that downtime for yourself and do some self-care, and how more available emotionally you were to everyone else in your family. Don't forget that, and like stick that note somewhere just as a reminder, because it's so easy to fall back into the same routine. And you want to make sure that you remember the reasons that you slowed down in the first place, and I mean the good things that came out of slowing down in the first place. You want to remember those things. So if you have to write yourself little love notes and leave them all over the house so that you find them a couple months down the road when things get crazy, I think that's a great idea.
I think one of the things is that when we get out of this, that we're going to be so done with our phones, and we're going to be so eager to meet back up with friends and loved ones that we'll be less likely to jump back on our devices when we get a text or something, and we'll have been so used to being ever present.
Right? I absolutely hope so. But then I think about all of the people out there who are going to want to post, hey, we're out and about out in the world, and like say that moment, it'll take it away, but it's a constant fight.
There you go. Back at it. Yeah, I think people tend to forget really, really quickly, and it's a blessing and a curse all at the same time, because we want to forget the bad stuff and we want to forget it quickly, but we want to remember the good stuff and hang on to it. So it can be a blessing and a curse, and I just hope that folks try to remember and try to make changes in their life that are long lasting, so they can keep and maintain the connections that are most important and vital to us, which is with our partner and our closest family members.
By the way, Shelly is on the left, Carole is on the right. Your names, the way they're popping up, so I don't,
All right.
Everybody knows.
Yeah. Just to match. Now, you guys do these couples workshops, and I love the one in Asheville, because who doesn't want to go to Asheville?
Yeah. Oh, there's our little.
Yeah, that looks great. So yeah, we do a couples weekend workshop where couples can transform their relationship in just 2 days. And we have just so much fun, and we love connecting with the couples personally. They get individual attention from us throughout the weekend to help them work on their exercises, and they learn new ways to connect and build their friendship, as well as how to manage conflict better. And our next one is August 1st and 2nd in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah, we are keeping our fingers crossed that everything has been back open and safely, of course. But I think everybody wants to get back to normal when it's safe, and hopefully that will come sooner rather than later.
Yes, absolutely.
So Ken and Erica, they went together, and he said that it was the one in Charlotte.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Yes. Hi, Ken.
Oh, hey.
So they had a pretty good outcome.
I think they had a really good time there, from what I've heard.
Really good. We're just going to leave it at that. So much so that they were late to the workshop on Sunday morning. But I think they just got the time wrong.
Yeah. They slept in.
That's the best thing that can happen. If they're skipping your session, then that's actually good. Not that you should skip the session. They're really good.
There are really bad reasons not to come to the workshop on time, and then there are really great, exceptional reasons.
Right. Like we did our job on Saturday for sure. We did our job. So that's awesome. Brody, we're reminding you, you had a question for us about our husbands or something.
Oh, yes, that's right. I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things that I saw that you two do, and it was one of those things where, you know, I don't know how many people think that marriage and relationship therapists have their marriages and relationships 100% together. Like, that's like saying a psychologist doesn't have their issues and whatnot. So, but what I like that the two of you do, and the kudos all go to your husband. Well, not all, but a lot of the kudos go to your husband, because you talk them into allowing you to videotape the aftermath of a fight so you can play it in front of all these couples at your retreat. And I was so impressed by that. And
yeah, our husbands are amazing people.
They really are.
But I mean, our marriages aren't perfect.
No.
And if, you know, one of the things that both Carole and I want to bring to this world is sort of the normalization that marriage is really hard.
Yeah.
And you get stuck and you're disappointed and there's hurts. And I think one of the reasons that our workshop is successful is because we are real people and we share our real stories. And I think that helps couples, and it helps to normalize struggles.
Absolutely. And at the weekend, we do each show a recorded activity of us doing a live, real life exercise using the tools that we teach couples at the workshop with our husbands. So each of those exercises we recorded, and they're real, like they're not scripted, and you get to see all of it, all the messiness of it.
We even know too much about
maybe,
our
yeah,
stuff.
they probably know a little too much about our stuff.
But the one good thing about that, though, is that you're getting an exercise, an example.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not all for nothing. It's not you just have a fight, but you can actually demonstrate, here's how we implement what we're sharing with you.
Right. So one of the big misconceptions about fighting between couples, or conflict or tension, is that that's a sign that something is wrong with the relationship. Mm-hmm. But that's not what the research says at all. Happy couples, like the most successful, stable couples, they fight, and they fight with just as much frequency as unhappy couples. So it's not conflict, and it's not fighting that predicts relationship failure. It's how they do it. And we show you how to do it.
We show you how to have conflict that also has a lot of positivity and love and appreciation and repairs and respect, so that you can have conflict, but it feels better than the negativity that couples who break up, they have a high frequency of that negativity. And we call it the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And those 4 things are criticism, defensiveness, stonewalling, and contempt. And with using those 4 horsemen in high frequency is a high predictor of divorce. John Gottman states he can predict whether or not a couple will stay together or break up just by watching them have a 10-minute conflict and recording how frequently they use the 4 horsemen. And he can predict that with over 94% accuracy.
Wow, that's amazing.
That it is amazing. I mean, I wish I could say that I could do that. I don't know that I could do that. But the research has shown that using those 4 negative styles of communicating are extremely detrimental to relationships. So we teach you how to have conflict where you don't need to use those, but you can really express what you need, talk about your own feelings, and feel validated and appreciated and empathized by your partner in a positive way, while still being able to disagree.
Yeah, and couples don't know how to do this. No. I mean, I didn't learn this anywhere, you know? And so I think couples have a lot of shame and like think that there's something wrong with them, that they fight or they use the 4 horsemen. And we all do, right? We all do until we learn something different.
Right. When we learn how to repair from those things is where we turn into a master of a relationship, and we become successful. When we learn how to make it better, that's the key, learning how to make it better.
Everybody fights, but you're making people better at fighting, or better at
expert fighters.
Expert master fighters.
The best part of the workshop is that we actually give one-on-one attention to every single participant there and walk them through the steps. So we're not just handing them a tool and leaving them out, on their own to figure it out. We actually go and assist every single couple with working through the exercise to feel like they can do it, to feel successful. So I think that makes a difference.
If somebody wants to reach out to you, how can they best contact you?
They can go to our website, which is couplesnc.com. That's couples plural, COUPLESNC.com. Or they can reach out to either one of us individually. My website is ShellyHummelTherapy.com.
And you can reach me at mytherapistnc.org.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on here and talking some people through the we haven't killed each other yet. And that word "yet" seems to, it's
yet. Right. We're not sure how much longer this is going to last, so we got to keep our options open.
Well, thanks for inviting us, Brody, and thanks for being open and focused. I love it that you're excited to talk about relationships and wanting to learn and spread the word. So thank you for inviting us.
Yes, thank you. We love talking to you about this.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on the show. And thank you for watching. Hopefully, my self-inspired show provided some sort of takeaway for you, or maybe even something that you can share with somebody else. And if you like the content you watched on Facebook, like and follow. If you watched on YouTube, subscribe. You can always watch the whole show and other episodes on demand and continue the conversation online at brodyradio.com, where you can also connect with me via email, social media handles. You can even record a voice message on the bottom of the website. Thanks again for watching. And remember, get connected, stay inspired, be happy. Thanks.